Did you ever think about how research over the past 100 years has caused such extraordinary advances in medicine, with new cures being discovered every day, longevity being advanced year by year across the world? In agriculture, equally extraordinary progress has been made because of the investments in research in agriculture. Did you realize that cows today produce 5 times the amount of milk that they did in 1950? Why is that? Because of many different kinds of research that's been going on all over the world that has found ways to make cows more productive. And the same is true in many, many other areas of agriculture, but also transportation, technology, many, many areas. Where places are advancing, you can almost always see that the reason is research and development that lies behind those advances. But why has this not taken place in education? Until very recently, there's been a great lack of respect for evidence in education, and perhaps that explains the slow pace of improvement in this critical field. This is beginning to change, and that's what I'm intending to talk with you about today, is that process of change. The main concept in my conception of evidence-based reform in education is proven programs. In other words, you first find out what kinds of strategies work with children, what kinds of programs work for improving reading, for example, or improving algebra, or improving science performance. Whatever it might be, you try out a given program with a group of children, and then measure the amount of progress that they make from the beginning of the program to the end of the program, and then do the same measurements in a control group that's using the kinds of strategies that existed before. If the experimental group that's using the new program makes greater gains, then you know you have something that's worth replicating. It's worth using in many other schools. That's the whole idea. It's very simple. It's important to have measures that are meaningful, that measure what you're really trying to get at in your particular area. And it's important that the experiments are done with a large enough sample of schools and students so that if the experiment works, then it's likely that the program will be capable of being scaled to a much larger number of schools and students later on. Luckily, you don't have to be an expert in research to know which programs are proven to be effective. There are many reviews of research that are available now on the internet that make it easy to find out where the proven programs are and which programs have been evaluated and found to be ineffective. One of these is called the What Works Clearinghouse in the United States. The U.S. Department of Education creates that review. Our own research center at Johns Hopkins University makes something called the Best Evidence Encyclopedia, or the B, and it reviews research from all over the world, available in English, to find what are the effective programs that schools can use in elementary and secondary grades. In London, there is an international initiative for impact evaluation that also does reviews of research on education programs and many other programs for low and middle income countries all over the world. These and many other reviews provide fair, consistent information about what works and what doesn't work to help educators make wise decisions about what might be effective for their children in their locale. Once you know what programs are available and which have been proven to be effective, then it's a process of trying to start small and then gradually expand the number of schools that use these programs. Providing information to let schools make decisions about what kinds of programs are appropriate to their needs and their interests is a good place to start, both in written form and electronic form, holding meetings to make people aware about effective programs. All of these can help people make informed decisions about what they would like to do. A key part of this process, in my own view, is that schools should be going through some process of buy-in, that school teachers and principals should find out about programs, have an opportunity to learn about them, and then decide to take them on by a vote, so that at the end of the process, the people who really make the program work have made the choice, and they're likely to put their heart and soul into making sure that the program is actually implemented well and producing the effects that we know that it can produce. Sometimes governments provide incentives of one kind or another, either monetary incentives or other sorts of incentives to help schools pay for the costs of implementing effective programs, or to give them an advantage when they write proposals for various purposes, so that it becomes clear that the government is encouraging schools to adopt these programs, but not requiring that you adopt them. And that's very important, that schools have a sense that it's still their choice. Nobody's forcing them to do any of these programs, but should they decide to adopt a proven program, then there's going to be help and there's going to be incentives for doing so. The proven program should become part of a policy that a local or national government might adopt, of finding what works, gradually expanding it, making people aware of what's out there, so that bit by bit, level by level, subject by subject, you're gradually getting better and better results across the board, across the entire region, because schools are using programs that are proven to be effective. They're learning how to make them work. They're learning how to replicate what's effective. And the research is continuing to identify more and more ways of improving outcomes for all children.